Heartbreak. Jimin can't believe Jungkook made the decision alone. The news that circulated tonight really shocked and stumped the feelings of the ARMY around the world. No one ever imagined that behind the warm smiles that Jimin and Jungkook always showed, there was a conversation that turned out to leave a wound in the heart. As news of Jungkook's big decision spread, everyone's attention was immediately drawn to Jimin's reaction. And what was revealed then made many people speechless and touched. According to a source close to the two, Jimin is known to have experienced a deep emotional clash when he learned that Jungkook made the big decision without much discussion with him first. Jungkook decided to sign a global project independently, something they had always talked about together. But this time Jungkook went one step further, alone. In one of the live broadcasts that Jimin made after the announcement. He honestly said that he could not believe it. His eyes looked teary, his voice trembling as he tried to express his feelings in front of the millions of ARMY watching him live. Jimin admitted that he was surprised because over the years, he and Jungkook have always been two people who share each other's decisions, give each other input, and hold each other in their every important step. I think he will discuss it with me further. We always do, we always share everything. But this time, he decided for himself, Jimin said in a tone that was difficult to hide his sadness. That sentence sliced the hearts of many ARMY, as if opening the other side of their relationship that had seemed so strong and unshakable. Jimin added that he was not angry, not disappointed in the sense of hate, but rather surprised and a little empty. Because he felt like he was left out in that important moment. Maybe he doesn't want to burden me. Maybe he wants me to focus on myself, but still, I can't pretend I'm okay, said Jimin, who after that sentence was silent for quite a long time, lowered his head, and held back his tears from falling in front of the screen. The watching ARMY immediately flooded the comments with words of encouragement, support, and love. They knew how deep Jimin and Jungkook's friendship was, and how difficult it was for Jimin to accept a decision like this without feeling a bit hurt. A few hours later, Jungkook also did a short broadcast. With a serious but still warm face, Jungkook confessed that he actually wanted to involve Jimin in this decision from the beginning, but he felt that this was a burden that he had to bear alone. I just want Hyung to be happy. I want him to focus on his happiness on his stage, on himself. I knew if I talked about this, he would definitely think about me too deeply. He would definitely worry about me. I don't want that to happen, Jungkook said slowly. He looked down, took a deep breath, then added, but now I realize, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I should have told him anyway. Because in the end, I don't feel happy seeing him like this either. Jungkook admits that he never intended to leave anyone, especially Jimin, who has always been his closest person. He's just trying to be an adult, trying to make decisions that he thinks are right. But he did not expect that the decision actually left an empty space in the hearts of the people he valued the most. Jimin Hyung was a part of all my steps. I don't want him to feel abandoned. I just want him to know that I always carry him in my mind. Even in my silence, Jungkook said, with a look that slowly began to glaze over. This moment became the most emotional point in their journey this year. The ARMY is torn between pride for Jungkook's bravery and deep feelings for Jimin. But one thing is for sure, everyone knows that they just need time to re-understand, re-strengthen each other. In the days that followed, Jimin and Jungkook were seen spending time together, albeit without the camera. Some fans who saw them in person mentioned that they seemed to speak deeply and thoughtfully. There is no distance that is too far for two people who have been together for so many years. There is no wound that they cannot heal together. In his latest post, Jimin wrote briefly, I'm always here. I get it. The message was perceived by the ARMY as a sign that Jimin was slowly accepting, and that they would always find each other a way to return no matter what. This story is a lesson in how even deep friendships can clash. About how love and care sometimes lead us to imperfect decisions. But in the end, they keep looking for each other, keep waiting for each other, and keep walking side by side. Jungkook and Jimin have shown the world that in a family, sometimes pain is part of the journey. And as long as they keep listening to each other and forgiving each other, nothing will be completely lost. There's still BTS. they remain one. And the ARMY will always bear witness to their stories that are so honest, so human, and so enduring. A few days after the emotional incident, the mood began to thaw a little. Jimin and Jungkook began to show signs of recovery from the distance of feelings that had occurred between them. ARMY, who from the very beginning monitored their development, felt how this story is not just about surprises and big decisions, but about maturity. About how two best friends who have grown up together must learn to understand the inevitable changes in their lives. Jimin, who had been devastated and distrustful, slowly began to repopulate those empty spaces with a deeper presence. He realizes that perhaps Jungkook made the decision alone not because he wanted to stay away, but because he wanted to protect him. In an exclusive interview released a few days later, Jimin finally admitted that he had felt hurt, but he also began to understand the reasons behind Jungkook's bold move. With a smile, Jim said, "Sometimes we love someone by letting them take their own steps. Maybe he doesn't want me to worry. Maybe he wants me to focus on pursuing my happiness too." Now I understand that. Meanwhile, Jungkook did not remain silent. He began to look for ways to show that he never intended to leave Jimin in such an important decision. In a live broadcast that shocked the ARMY, Jungkook specifically played a song he wrote himself, a song that turned out to be intended for Jimin. The lyrics of the song talk about a joint journey, about the fear of taking a step alone, and about the confidence that a person important to him will always understand even without many words. Jimin, who apparently watched the broadcast live, posted a short comment that immediately went viral across platforms. "I heard your song. And yes, I understand now." The comments were like closing a long chapter of tension that had overshadowed their relationship. Armies around the world flooded the broadcast with tears and love, relieved that the two had found a way to forgive each other and get back to grips with each other. Since then, Jimin and Jungkook have been seen together more and more behind the scenes. Some BTS staff have revealed that they now support each other more intensely, often even sharing time to talk not just about projects, but it is about their personal life that so far rarely highlights. They again become friends who strengthen each other, filling the void that had arisen as a result of misunderstanding and unintentional emotional distance. Jungkook also gave another surprise that made the ARMY even more moved. During one of his solo concerts, Jungkook suddenly played a short video containing moments of his togetherness with Jimin. The video was accompanied by a song that he dedicated specifically with the title, "For Hyung." No one could hold back tears when seeing how Jungkook publicly revealed how much Jimin meant to his life. He not only apologized indirectly, but also confirmed that although their paths may seem different, his heart never went far. Jimin, who was sitting among the invited guests that night, stood up and smiled, then gave a warm applause that triggered an ARMY roar throughout the stadium. After the concert, Jimin shared a photo of the two of them backstage with a short but deep caption, "I'm always here. And I'm always proud of you." Their relationship now seems to be growing more mature, stronger, and more honest. They understand that not all decisions must always be mutually agreed, but mutual trust is a foundation that should not be lost. They prove that love, friendship, and family aren't always about being on the same track every time, but rather about the ability to still embrace each other despite sometimes having to walk a slightly different path. ARMY who have watched their journey feel increasingly connected to this story because they have been invited to see the human side of their idols.